All right, guys. Today we're talking about the secret to making $5,000 in the next 30 days in your wholesaling business. Now, a lot of time I do 30 grand, 50 grand. I'm giving you the easiest layup of them all today. If you are behind on your rent, if your girlfriend's getting ready to leave you because your credit cards are run up too much, you're behind on your mortgage, your credit cards are stacked up, this is the live stream for you. I'm telling you right now, guys. 5K is just about a focused effort. Don't believe me? Trust me. Talk to people who do it, and they're all about giving the best effort forward. My name is Rick Ginn. I've been wholesaling for 21 years, and I'm going to quickly, briefly, and easily show you how to do the 5K. To me, this is the easiest live stream I think I've ever done. So, as usual, there are no secrets in wholesaling. That's the first thing you absolutely have to understand. If you understand there are no secrets, then that's half the game in the battle, because most of you try to hunt down, get secrets. You think gurus know that, and that's why they sell you the secrets, and that's why you all wind up being disappointed. So to eliminate the secrets, go over to freewholesaling.com. Me and Zach give away the course 100% for free. There's no secrets. There's no gimmicks. The whole thing's there. I haven't held back. We're going on year 5. And guys, that's where most people I start in wholesaling get started. But let's get into it today. If you got any questions, do me a favor, put them in the comments, introduce yourself, let us know what network you're in, what network of wholesaling you are, meaning what market you're in. And heck, if you got a deal to sell, then that is a great place to do it. So I have quite a few deals I'm working on selling now. I might run a little advertisement at the end, but maybe you can do the 5 grand just by getting me a buyer for deals I'm working on, JVs all over the country. Guys, if I'm going to do it, I'm going to teach you exactly how to do it. And this is what we need to do. So let's get started without further ado. I'm reading your comments as we go. So I got ADHD. Sometimes it distracts me. So as I said, if you're new to this channel or you need a refresher in wholesaling, go over to freewholesaling.com. It is the only safe place you can go over in wholesaling without being Billy clubbed upside the head from a guru that's going to tell you they're going to solve all your problems. Just give them 5 or 10 grand. And if you've been a victim of that, call 1-800-RICK don't care. Now, if you want to solve it, let's move forward today. Start with freewholesaling.com. Guys, it's all there. I'm not going to spoon feed it to you. I update it every month, every year, every week I look at it, and I'm constantly putting the best information I can there for you. I got 21 years culminated experience plus my son's 8 years, and this is where you have to start. Once you start there, you'll be fine. Freewholesaling.com. So let's jump into it. The first thing we have to do is make ourselves accountable. Guys, I can't do the wholesaling for you. And this is where a lot of people screw it up. This is where you think the guru is going to do it for you, and they don't. I'm not a guru. Call me whatever you want. A guru is actually a religious, fanatical person that has a following. So that's why I call them gurus, because you're mostly doing the following. You're not doing the learning. So number one, you got to be accountable to yourself. No matter who you work with, me, Zach, anybody else on the internet, anyone who introduced you to wholesaling, which I think that's amazing if anyone has. But at the end of the day, it's your responsibility. It's not mine. It's not your mom's. It's not your dad's, your sisters, your aunts, your uncles, your niece, your nephew, your brothers, your sisters. At the end of the day, you are going to have to get this thing called wholesaling done. And if you understand that, you actually give yourself permission to empower yourself to get this done. You see, so many times, hold on. I'm always working on deals here, guys. Okay. So many times we think just because someone else knows more that it allows you off the hook. It's the actual complete opposite. Let me give you a perfect example. I don't think she's on here, and I don't even have her full name because I've recently worked with it. I had somebody in Flip with Rick Plus on the West Coast. I'm not going to call out. Less than 30 days experience in wholesaling. Never, ever done a deal before. She goes, Rick, how do I get a deal now? I told her, you're in a tough market. I believe It was in the upper Northwest, like Oregon area, Portland, to be specific. It was a tough deal. She paired up with a husband, had 3 small children. I had 2 small children when I started wholesaling while I had a full-time job, so I related the story. All I did, guys, is tell her to follow freewholesaling.com and go do driving for $1. She did that. She built up a big list. She goes, what do? I said, you just skip trace them and you call on each one of them. She goes, okay. I didn't get, how do I do that? Or that's so complicated. I'm so scared. What's going to happen if they reject me, Rick? You know what she did? This is the really cool part. And this, if I could get every person to do this, you guys probably wouldn't even need me and Zach. It's the truth. She just started calling. She didn't care. She didn't care what anybody thought about her. She knew very little about wholesaling. She just knew she needed to reach out to motivated sellers to see if they had an interest in selling the property. The rest of it was just her being authentic, going through the MCTP and gathering all the data to see if she could strike a deal. She reached out to me. I said, I think you got a very good deal. Make an offer. How do I do that? Just make the offer. Here's your number range. Go for no, do the lowest. And she got it. The bottom line is, I didn't put it up here. I will post it in my YouTube. I'll do it by tomorrow morning. And I got to make a note, because if I don't, heck, she posted her first deal. I kid you not. I swear on this, $76,000. Now, today we're only talking about making $5,000. She did only 10X it. What is that? That's like 15X. I don't even know what the number is. It's absolutely insane. Let's see. 76. And it was slightly over 76. Yeah. 15.5X'd it. Insanity. And guys, I'm here to tell you, you shouldn't go, I'm scared. I don't know what to do. What if they reject? She just did it. And that's honestly, if that's the big secret I'm going to share with you today, it's going to be it. So we talked about being accountable. When me and Zach tell you to do something, or I tell you to do it on the video, I want you to you're always in control of your mind. You do what you think's right for you. You typically let people lead you that, number one, you fully believe in, and number two, they've proven their path. Don't ever let someone on the internet come on, I flip 50 houses a month and blah, 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 blah. And you just heard about this guy or this girl. And then you're like, that's weird. I've never really seen you before. And so first, you always have to vet everybody you do. Any piece of software you buy, anything you do. And that's what I suggest you do. Once you do that, when you go to freewholesaling.com, 75% of the people that go through freewholesaling.com spend most of their time questioning every part of it. Guys, I've already put 21 years into it. You're wasting your time. So when I talk about being accountable, I've already walked the journey, guys. I quit tomorrow. I'm fine. I don't want to. I'm having too good of a time. That's when you know you're winning in life, when you actually show up to work and you want to do it. Good Lord, that's hot. So when we do this, we're talking about being accountable to ourselves. So if we talk about being accountable, let me bounce this up here. Okay, I got that. Let's do this. So I'm talking about being accountable to yourself. That's honestly the biggest secret that I think most people miss. So if we talk about making $5,000 right now, let's get down to granular being accountable. Let's talk about daily counts. So if you want to do this in the next 30 days, you got to talk about your daily counts. What do I mean by daily counts? These are the KPIs you should keep if you're trying to get your first $5,000 in wholesaling. Period. End of story. Number one. Here we go. Ready? Number of contacts made. How many people did you make contact with? Notice the key distinct difference here is, I didn't say how many people did you call, how many people did you text, how many doors did you knock on, how many reverse driving crew dollars, or any of that stuff. I said, how many people in total did you make a contact with? It's a weird stat. That doesn't count people who hung up on you, slammed the door on you, or never responded to you. Now, you decide. I like to go a bit further and qualify, and then how many of those did I actually move into my lead, into my CRM that I'm actually conversing with? But We got to start somewhere. How many people did you make contact with? If you will keep a daily log of this over the next 30 days, I can tell you exactly where you're going in wholesaling. You know why? Less than 5% of the people actually keep this stat. The most, in my opinion, probably one of the most important stats you can keep as a new wholesaler. Why? Because the more people you contact, the more opportunities you have. And while you're doing that 30-day journey, it might be 90 days for some of you. That's how you learn the art of wholesaling. If you think you're just going to pick it up off my course, read a book, watch a video, you have to engage your entire nervous system. Do you understand that? So, guys, if somebody wants to go be brave enough in the comments and put the number of contacts that you've made, and if you want to track it every day and you want to come on here and share it, man, I commend you, because that's what it takes. It takes real guts to do this business. But I'm telling you, so many people, I was going to call 100 people today, but after the 20th call, I got discouraged. This lady really rattled me, and no. You will never make it with that mentality. So let's start out with the first stat. Number of contacts made, period. That is the amount of people you have actually made contact with that didn't quite hang up on you. You keep that and you keep pushing that number, and especially over 30, 60, 90 days, I guarantee you an opportunity. The question, are you fully prepared to take on the opportunity, which is the next part of our equation there. Okay. Number of contacts, guys. Whenever I struggle, whenever I have a new person in my company, I give them a simple KPI tracker, key performance index. This is one of them. Now, there's a lot that you can do, but at the end of the day, I don't care how many calls you made. I don't care how many offers you sent, how many people did you contact. Because if you only contacted 10 people, I don't need the rest of the stats. I know where they're at. I know they're in the dumpster. Okay. So we have to drive the behavior. So many of you in wholesaling are pushing for the end result. So if I want to get $5,000 and say I make 150 contacts today, not saying good or bad. It's just some people think that's great. Some people think that's terrible. But am I taking the consistent action that will lead me to that result? Because if you're chasing just the result, you're never going to, because it's going to take a lot of little pieces of action to happen. So start with number one, the number of contacts made. Number two, this is a big one because there's many ways to collect that $5,000. Maybe you pick it up on a JV deal. Maybe you help somebody with a cash buyer. So what I like to say is, what's the number of network contacts you made each day? What do I mean by that? Outside of your motivated sellers list, the ones you contact on your own, you need to be seeking out network contacts. These are people that you meet that they might be fellow wholesalers. How do I meet them? Go to your local RIA meetings, real estate investor associations. Everybody has one around. I ran one in my area for 7 years and I loved it. I met some of my best friends there. And honestly, who doesn't want to be around a bunch of investors? It's a lot of fun. Good and bad investors. Some have good intentions, some have bad. So protect your time. Don't buy the guru courses while you're there because they'll sell the crap out of you. But you're going to meet hard money lenders. You're going to meet private money lenders. You're going to meet real estate agents that work with real estate investors. You're going to meet other wholesalers, fix and flippers, landlords, contractors. It is endless. This is a great place to find JV partners. And yes, you can make an easy $5,000 just doing a JV deal. Guys, I make hundreds of thousands of dollars every month just doing JV deals, guys, with you. That's just another part of my business. Then I have my virtual markets, and then I have my local market, and then all the fun stuff I do with you guys on the internet. So I'm just telling you is you have to have networks. So yes, you need to get your wholesaling business up and running, but look for other opportunities where you can help people. Now, here's the secret in this. Whenever you make a network, you're basically sharing information. And think about you. We talk about accountability. You have to provide the value first. So stop going to people, go, give me all your cash buyers. Give me all your motivated sellers. Give me all your private money lenders. No. Hey, Rick, how can I help you in your business today? What do you need right now? I say, listen, I need a cash buyer for this property in this area. Awesome. Can I get the address? And if I can find a cash buyer, can we do a deal together? Sure. Solve my problem. I help solve your problem. And that's how networks are created. You can find title companies. You can find probate lawyers. You can find almost anything. You've got to go out and find these types of networks. When I first started out, I think I went to 100 real estate agents' office. Now, it probably wasn't the best move. I just wanted to stay busy in activity. Now, out of them, I probably met 5 real estate agents that would assist me, and 2 actually wound up being long-term, basically JV partners on deals I did. They would find me tired houses that sat on the market for a long time that needed a cash offer, and I taught them what I was looking for, and it was a perfect situation. I learned a lot in that process. To be honest with you, I really didn't have business talking to realtors when I started out. That's why I do not tell you guys to go on the MLS and hunt for wholesale deals. That is just what we call a course sucker, which means if you're a sucker to buy a course on that starting out as a wholesaler, they're going to sell you everything in the world. And they're going to put cute little names on it like outtouch, outperform, and then they'll put the word real estate agent. Guys, I'm just telling you, are there deals on the MLS? Yeah, but far and few. The key ingredients to find a great wholesale deal is off market, which means it ain't going to be on MLS, direct to seller, which means there won't be a real estate agent involved, and you need someone who needs to sell their house, not wants to sell their house. If you put those 3 recipes together, the $5,000's a piece of cake. You have to go out and find them. Some people go, well, Rick, that's like finding a needle in a haystack. No, it's not. It's like finding a $50 in a room full of junk. It's going to take work. It's not just going to pop out to you. So you have to go through a systematic process and comb through it to get that $50. If you want to do that, me and Zach are your man. So do we understand number of network contacts, bail bondsmen, arrest records? I can keep going on. Real estate agents, contractors, failed contractor bids. I just picked up a deal today off a failed contractor bid. You know why? Because I forged a relationship with a contractor. He goes, hey, Rick, you still buying houses? Absolutely. What you got? I have a lady who's got the ugliest house I've ever seen. It needs $50,000 of work, and the tenants are moving out, and she says she doesn't know what she's going to do. She doesn't have the money to fix it up. Boom. We're working on it right now. How did I get that? I just go find contractors that write up huge bids, and more than 50% of them fail. So what do? Walk away? No. The contractor gets a marketing fee. He'll get anywhere from $1,000 to $3,000, depending on the spread on it. And it's perfectly legal, guys. And that is one of my networking contacts. Now, how long did I make that contact? That contact was from 11 years ago, and I keep that relationship going. So I just want you to understand how this works. Number of networks is absolutely key. Now, let's keep going and counting down. Every one of these I'm giving you is a daily action plan for KPIs you need to keep so you understand you can get to the end result by taking this consistent, massive amount of action every day. Everybody clear on that? Okay, let's go to the next one. You ready? Now, once we do that, you know the next one I'm going to hit you with. How many government lists did you get? What's the number of government lists? Guys, I just want something more than one. I had somebody the other day like, I worked so hard, I could only get 2. Okay, let's work the 2. What was the result of the 2? I don't know. I've been working so hard on getting the others. I didn't even start on that. That makes no sense. That's just an excuse in your mind. And I'm not going to buy it. And you got to stop selling that. You see, I don't care if you can get all 6 or 7 government lists. I think there's up to 9 total if you really add them up. The reality is if you get like half, you hit it out of the park. I don't get 100%. So why do you expect? I have some people get 100%, but the most part is try to get at least a multiple, 2 or 3, and just get it going. And once you get that list, run with it. What, Rick? What do I do? I don't know. Call, mail, text, reverse drive your dollars. Like whatever you got to do to make that contact, just run and go get it. It is in your power. Stop waiting till you have all the information to actually take action and just take it and move forward. But I teach you this all in freewholesaling.com. But some of you decide, I'm going to wait till I learn everything because that's how I learned in school. Well, how far did that get you? That got you broke, tired, frustrated, and in debt. So why don't you get the information, be proud of yourself for getting it, and then actually take action on it and understand you are going to feel uncomfortable. And if you're okay with that, you can do wholesaling. If you're scared about being uncomfortable, this is going to get very, very painful quick because I'm fixing my notes here. Okay. Where did that go? Okay. How did I miss that? So now that we know that, and we need to do that, is the next one. So the number of government, every one of you, if anybody wants to come on, actually, let me, before I forget about it, because sometimes I just talk here. Let me put this up here. If you guys want to hop on a one-on-one, I'm just going to put it out there now before I forget. Awesome. Okay. Okay. Back to our board here. So government lists. So right now, if you tell me, if I go through your daily counts and I say, what's the number of contacts? What's the number of networks contacts you made? And what's the number of government lists? I can pretty much tell you within accuracy how successful you're going to be in wholesaling. Because if you skip these, I'm almost guaranteeing you a 95% failure ratio. Because that's the stats that the guru gives us. It's probably worse, unfortunately. Because most courses are geared around sales and not actually teaching you how to do the business. To do this business, you got to have the guts and you got to have the truth. And then you got to have the education and the tools. And if you don't get all those, you can't succeed. It's impossible. I failed multiple times at wholesaling. The only thing that kept me alive is I did not quit. Okay. I guarantee you're all going to fail. The question is, are you going to keep coming back? So now the next one, how many reverse driving for dollars leads did you complete from your government list? Which ones do I want you to do? It's real simple. Tax delinquencies are huge and pre-foreclosures are absolutely huge. And then code violations. If you hit those three on reverse driving for dollars, you're going to substantially increase your ability to get in front of a motivated seller. Why? Because everybody responds to the sticky note on the door. Think about it. I put a note on your door and I say, hey, listen, John, man, I got a quick question about your house. The curiosity is going to kill you. And I know this. So we call this the curiosity itch. Use it. People can't stand not to know. Listen, the reality is one of the biggest tricks, if you ever have a seller ghosting you, I want you to get another phone, maybe your wife's, your kids, or something like that. I want you to call and hang up after one ring. 90% probability they call you back. Why? They cannot stand it. The itch drives people nuts. I know how to scratch that itch in wholesaling. It's my favorite thing to do. Remember, your job is to engage the prospect. Reverse driving for dollars is no different. Some people go, it's not a bait and switch. Call me. I got a question about your house. You interested in selling it? That's direct. A bait and switch is I have a final urgent notice. That sounds almost legal and probably gets you in trouble real quick with the United States Postal Postmaster. And I don't do tactics like that. So reverse driving for dollars completed. How many? So if you got a government list and you don't do reverse driving for dollars, I already know where this is going. You guys are, I'm giving you a simple scorecard to get to 5,000. Anybody wants to jump on today, I will challenge you on this. Because this is what I do with people inside of Flip with Rick. If you want to dig into it, tell me what you're doing right now. Tell me what we did this week. Don't tell me what you did last month. I could care less about a year or 5 years ago. Guys, I've been doing this 21 years. The 21 years before, nobody gives a crap in my company. Are we producing right now? Are we taking the massive consistent action we need to get our deals done? And these are the questions we go through. There's no secrets, guys. I'm just telling you what it is without charging you the course fee. You pass in Monopoly where you just pass go and collect your $200. This one, you pass the guru and you collect $5,000. In the Monopoly game, you got to pay the guru $5,000 to $10,000 just to get your $200. So Rick says, pass the guru and go get your $5,000. I'm not kidding you guys. Why do you think they have a paywall on everything they teach you in wholesaling? Because they learned from somebody else that told them that you got to keep a secret paywall because you have to guard your time because so many people will waste it. Guys, when I'm on the air a certain amount of time. If I've got 5,000 people watching me or 5 people watching me, it's the same amount of effort for me. So I might as well give you the absolute best information as possible. And if I'm truly a go-getter and I want to JV with people all over the country, why would I train people one-on-one? Listen, I'm not knocking it. If somebody wants to train you one-on-one and they're actually really good, knock yourself out. But I got to ask yourself, how good are they if they can take 100 hours and train you one-on-one for wholesaling for even $5,000 or $10,000? It means they're not worth a lot of money. And I could never afford to do that. So I'm better off teaching the masses and finding the ones that actually want to take action. And that's what we're talking about today. How many channels do you guys want me to have? You know why I do so many channels? Because, well, I'm not going to comment on YouTube. That's a whole nother subject. But I always want you guys to have an avenue to reach out and talk to me, especially Zach. And the more avenues we have, the better it is. People like, if people come up to me all the time, how do you do as much as you do? I don't know. Here's what I do. I turn on the camera, I hit record, I punch live, and I talk to you. How hard is it? So if you already have the knowledge, I just got to get through the technical side, which you guys know I'm not great at it. I never let it tie me up. Do you know for a long time, I let my personal image get in the way of like being on the camera with you guys. Now I just don't give a crap. Listen, you're here for my information. You definitely ain't here for my looks. I know that. So reverse driving for dollars. If you apply those government lists and do that, I know exactly where you're going. I can tell who's getting close to the $5,000 and who's going further away from the $5,000. The next one, real simple one. Give me the number of driving for dollar leads you did. I just showed you an example with someone less than 30 days experience who took freewholesaling.com. Yes, she's a member of Flip with Rick Plus, but honestly, she got her education for freewholesaling.com. And then we just gave her an extra level of support. It wasn't one-on-one. The whole community helped her out. And honestly, she just did it. She didn't question it. And if it's the biggest gift I can give you guys, you got to stop questioning everything that me and Zach do. I lead by example. Now, if I sat on my couch and I did like 20 wholesale deals and then I tried to preach from my high horse, I wouldn't blame you for questioning me. But I've been doing this a super long time. I love this. And there's not many people in wholesaling that's done this as long as I am because I actually love it. Now, you have the right to leave wholesaling and you earn it. If you want to do it, you want to do fix and flip or whatever. But I'm just going to tell you, I've never had a better time than in wholesaling because I focus on the deal. So because I have ADHD, I constantly seek a thrill. Wholesaling has probably been the best medicine for me. I don't go to a bar. I don't go anywhere else. I go and find deals. Heck, even when I go to Vegas, I am bored out of my mind going to gamble because so wholesaling is not gambling, it's the farthest thing from it, but I get a rush from everything I do. Once I have the deal inked, I'm actually bored and I'm so happy to hand it off to the team member to help get it done. And then they bring me in if anything else falls apart. But guys, driving for dollars, one of the most tried and true ways to get deals. If you are struggling with deals and you have the ability to drive in your local market or have somebody in your virtual market drive, get in the damn car and just find ugly houses, write them down. You can do it. You can use an app for it. You can use X leads for it, or you could just use a yellow pad. There's no financial requirement to do it. Can you make it more convenient? Absolutely. But I'm here to tell you guys, this works. The question is, are you going to work it? And then here's my next favorite part. Nobody ever has an answer for me this. And I'm thinking about creating an app for it, but I just don't want to waste time doing it. Do you track your 1,000-hour count? Meaning, if it takes 1,000 hours to master the simple skill of anything in life, how many hours have you put in wholesaling? And honestly, this isn't like when you go to work. So those of you that work a 40-hour week, which I am not a hypocrite, I did a majority of my life doing that, 12 years to be exact. And I'm here to tell you 40 hours a week, you probably put in about 6 to 8 hours worth of work in reality. So how soon are you going to get to that 1,000 hours? When you log in 1,000 hours, it's like a pilot. So if I'm sure there's a pilot or two on here somewhere, or we'll be watching at some time. They have to log and get credit for their hours. Now, here's the difference. We talk about self-accountability. You have to log the 1,000 hours. I can't do it. Watching a Rick or Zach video is not count towards your 1,000 hours, by the way. The 1,000 hours is credited every time you're talking to a seller or doing a revenue earning task in wholesaling, like driving for dollars, reverse driving for dollars, government lists, networks, number of contacts made. You guys get it? You do not count the 1,000 hours watching videos, diving into freewholesaling.com. I use that as bonus hours. That goes towards your 10,000 hour count. So you got to get 1,000 hours. The best 1,000 hours you can get is talking to motivated sellers. That's how you learn this game. That is the big secret. Unfortunately, they can't teach you that in a 4-week course because they don't have enough time to teach it to you. And that's why the course is $97. So listen, I bought every one of them out there. You get a couple trinkets from it, but you're never going to learn wholesaling from it. You guys need the truth, and that's what I'm here for. So 1,000 hours. If you're willing to keep a KPI chart and go, okay, I did 2 hours of cold calling today. I made X amount of contacts. I made the networks. Boom. That's 2 hours. That goes to your 1,000 hours. I promise I've never met someone who put 1,000 hours that did not hit it out of the park. Most people quit at 20, 30, and 100 hours. It's too much work. This is exhausting. I can't do it. So let's get it going. Okay. So the 1,000 hours are like, what's the 1,000 hours that count? No, getting up to the bathroom does not count towards your 1,000 hours. So guys, we need to understand this. Where did I put it? I know I put it. I got it. I slid it. Where'd I go? This is a big one. Now I'm outside of the KPIs. Now I'm going to get inside your head. Number one, honestly answer this question. And remember, if you can't tell yourself the truth, I know you can't tell me the truth. I played around with this probably my first 2 years of wholesaling. Are you running a hobby or a business? Be honest with yourself. Just if you're running a hobby, recognize it. How do I know I'm running a hobby? When you prioritize everything else over wholesaling, you're running a hobby. Now, some people run a hobby and they do it on the side. That's fine. I mean, I have hobbies. I like saltwater aquarium, stuff like that. But I have a problem. I get a little obsessive with a lot of things I touch. And sometimes I go in too deep. And you don't make any money with raising coral and saltwater fish. It's actually a very expensive, about $100,000 venture is what I got into. So I had to take a break from it. I custom built an entire house around it. Then I sold it. I don't know what the hell I was thinking. But anyways, the question is, are you running a hobby or a business? And a lot of people approach me and go, man, you would do really good in this business. You know, when I was talking about coral and saltwater aquariums, I go, but I just enjoy it. There's no money to be made in it. I've already researched. I couldn't find one wealthy person in the entire business. Not even one. Not even one. I even went to shows and stuff. They're like, man, dude. I went and saw all the YouTubers, all the famous people. And the one common theme is they were all broke. So it's a hobby. I fully invested. I never went into wholesaling as a hobby. It was my fix. And you better commit to this early. And if you don't understand the difference, if you're not spending a majority of your time doing wholesaling, it's a hobby. So number one, recognize it. And number two, fix it. How do I fix it? Go back to the initial numbers I teach you on how to keep yourself accountable. It's that simple, guys. If you do this full time, if you can't make $5,000 in a month, are you really meant to be in wholesaling? Let's be brutally honest with each other about it. $5,000 is not a lot of money. You have to learn the skill set. Here's the problem, guys. Everybody wants the end result, but nobody wants to do the daily work to get there. Everybody wants to be 30, 50 pounds lighter, but people don't want to go through the daily pain of eating the right foods, exercising, getting plenty of sleep, and not putting crap in your body of processed foods, alcohol, or the other stuff, wholesaling is no different. It's the same thing. It's just a different way to do it. So instantly recognize hobby or business. Got it? Now, let's start talking about what we have to do for the mental checklist. So the first thing you have to do is the stuff I've already primed and conditioned for you is number one, you have to take consistent daily action. You want to run a business, this is what it requires. Businesses never just sit on cruise control and nobody runs them. Maybe some software business or something like that, but the reality is you are on an all hands deck. This is a real job. This is not a passive income strategy. This is not like I'm not even going to get into it because I got a whole conversation last week around it, and just you guys popped up every scam you've ever tried. I don't want to bring those memories up. So if we know that, we actually have to work. So if you have a full-time business, you can't take 3 days off, and you got to stop doing it. So consistent daily action. There's no exception. If you don't do it, I know you're not serious about this business. I swear to God, I told Zach, I tell you what, we just got to run a contest, however we do it. Pick somebody randomly. And the idea is we'll fly out to your city and spend, 2 or 3 days with you. And guys, I'll take you to dinner. I'll give you tips. I'll tell you what I think about a property, but I want to see what you do. I want to see what you do. Like if you do something, and here's the key, guys. If you do something different when me and Zach show up, that's all I need to know about your business. Like stop waiting till we show up and do it now. Pretend I'm sitting over your shoulder. I should get one of those tapes where you put it on and like Rick just talks in your ear. It's kind of like Rick's yelling in your ear. Like I know what to do. And what would Rick do if he's in the situation? You know exactly what I tell you to do. So instead of talking about it and saying, hey, I would do it if Zach and Rick was here. Like, don't fake it till you make it because it doesn't work in this business. Just do it now. Guys, me and Zach have enough platforms so you can be in contact with us every day. So just pretend we're there. Or come out to our live event in Orlando, October 23rd, 24th. And then we spend 3 whole days with you. Like I'm out there 4 days. We do 2 full days committed to you guys for 12 hours a day. I can't make myself more inaccessible. So daily consistent action. This is the next big one. You ready? You got to replace your excuses with action. So I love it. You guys gotten a lot better, especially on this show. But like when my first 2 years of going on live, most of the time, 80% of the time, because I look at transcripts, I look at everything, is people complaining about their situation. And all it is an excuse. And remember, all an excuse is a story you tell in your head to feed your subconscious mind, to soothe you, to make you feel like you're right. Remember, your ego always has to win. It always has to be right. It has to feel super important. Feels good temporary. It will crush you in the long run. It will destroy you. And I'm telling you, the excuses only work for you. The more excuses I hear from them, the less likely I want to deal with them. The more people tell me their excuses, it's just, I believe you when you tell me your excuses. I just want to stay away from you because we all have issues. And let me let you know, like one little big secret nobody tells you. Life's definitely not fair. It's complete crap, some of the stuff that happens. You're going to lose loved ones for no reason. It's terrible. You're going to be financially wiped out for stuff that like maybe a medical or a family member. Nothing's fair. So the minute you think everything's fair and it's not fair, no. Bye. All you need at the end of the day is a place you call home and somewhere to put your head on. I don't care if it's a straw pillow. And if you can be happy with that in your family, everything in life is a gift. And so, but most people think I don't have this, I don't have that. So let me tell you, if you make a lot of excuses, I used to make a lot of excuses when I was young because you learn it from the people that you're surrounded with, which is most of your family. Now, they love you, but they're screwed up. I'm going to tell you, let's all admit it. Put it in the comments and just say, my family's a little bit screwed up, but I love them. I tell my family every day. Do you think me and Zach fight? Like, honestly, like sometimes I just want to wrestle him off. He's He's just more athletic than me, but I think I'm stronger than him. But that's a whole nother debate. We'll figure that out on the bench press. But I'm here to tell you is we all have issues. So number one, you have to recognize your excuse. Here is a trick I learned. Once someone says, hey, is that an excuse? I want you to take the stoic approach. And here's how a stoic does it. This is probably one of the most eye-opening exercises I've ever done. When something happens to you and someone calls you out, like that's a BS excuse, or like, you're just wimping out. I want you to step out of the situation and pretend you're hovering 30 feet above, like you're an independent third party, and think objectively and look at both sides and then make an honest assessment of what the truth is. You can't do it yourself. Your ego will never let you do it. So you get out, you look at it, let the situation calm, and 9 times out of 10, you go like, yeah, I make an excuse because I don't want to do it, and it makes me really uncomfortable. And that's just an easy way for me to avoid it. Boom. I recognized it. You see, the biggest problem with people and excuses, they don't recognize it. 95% of the people can't recognize an excuse. If you can't recognize it, you can't fix it. If I have a weight problem, I'm massively overweight, but I go, I just need to lose a few pounds. That's a cop-out. It's an excuse. Just go, listen, I need to do better. We're not going to fix this overnight. I'm going to take this one day at a time. And do the same thing with wholesaling. So if you're making excuses, number one, recognize it. How? Float up third party, 30 feet above, and pretend you don't know either party, yourself and the person you're having the argument with or whatever, the excuse session, and say, man, that sounds pretty lame. That sounds pretty lame. I can't even believe I said that. And then what I like to do is take a journal and I write it down and I reflect on it on future discussions. And if it keeps coming up, then I know I need to fix it. It's just that simple. Guys, excuses are terrible. You can either have a million excuses or you make $1 million, but you can't do both. I've never met anyone who is wildly successful that gives excuses. You know why? They just focus on creating solutions. See, if you focus all your energy on making excuses, nothing gets done. The only thing that's right is in your subconscious mind, your ego. And here's the reality is when you broadcast your excuses, you're going to repel people like me and Zach, people that actually want to make a difference in the world and make a ton of money. And you attract, listen to me, you attract other excuse seekers because people like the bond. So we talk about commonality and like mirroring people. People make excuses, they attract them. And that's why you're stuck with those people around you. So step out of it and identify it. Guys, you want to do a crazy exercise, you can go on the internet, you can calculate this on your own and calculate it. Figure out how many days you got left on this earth on average. If you live to 80, 83, do the math. I don't have time to play, guys. I'm 54. I don't care. I'm going to be honest with you. When I make an excuse, I recognize it. I reflect on it. It's painful. And I decide why I made that excuse. And I decide where I'm going to go forward from there. And I try not to repeat it anymore. I'm not perfect. I'm just like you guys, but you have to understand that. The next biggest one, I'm telling you right now, that you guys just completely get ripped apart on. And honestly, if I'm being truthful with you, this killed me my first 5 years wholesaling. 5. Guys, 5. I'm embarrassed to say. I didn't start this till I was 33. So I wasn't exactly a spring chicken like a lot of you out there. So you got time to work on it. This is the good news is if you use an old dude like me, you can actually gain so much wisdom and knowledge and get so much further ahead, especially if you guys 17, 16, 17, 18, 19, any in your 20s, any in your 30s. I swear to God, not my biggest regret. I just wish somebody would have got in front of me and shared information with me on how life really works. I seeked out the wrong people and it's my fault. I take full accountability for it. And my job is to help any person, man or woman, to get past the BS obstacles I got stuck with. So here's the big one that stumped me up for 5 years in wholesaling. And this will bleed on every other part of your life right there. I stop caring what others think of you. You've got to stop. No one's going to listen. Your family's not going to support you in wholesaling. Your friends are going to think you're a freak. You go to a high school reunion, they're just going to laugh you out of it. Guys, I went to my high school reunion while I was wholesaling. And I wasn't wildly successful. I was doing very well. And I just wasted my time explaining what I did. And the others, I'm a doctor and I'm an architect and I'm the PR relations manager. They were so caught up in their titles. And every one of them, in my opinion, was miserable, overworked, and not making a lot of money. And I just kind of go, man, I am not that same kid from high school. I'm not even, honestly, I recognize the character in them, but that's it. Some of my best friends from high school, but like, I can't even wrap my head around it. So when I go to any like school function, which I'm still proud of where I grew up in South Florida, Plantation High, but I don't compare myself because I'm in such, I can't even grasp the concept. So I respect. I have no problem. You want to be an auto mechanic, be the best mechanic you want to be. I'm not better than anybody else. I never say it, but like what I do have a problem is when someone picks a basic job and then they just constantly complain and make excuses why they can't make money. That is on you. And you can fix that anytime you want it. You want to be a school teacher, you knew exactly what the salary is. It's a commendable job. But if that's truly your passion, then pick some other things that you can make other money on the side so you can make ends meet. I'm tired of people saying, I can't retire, I can't do anything. You chose the job, you've been there 30 years. Take responsibility. I think it's crappy too. My wife's a school teacher. I retired her. It's ridiculous. But it is the system. It is a government job. We have to take accountability for what we do. I thought being a teacher was really cool and sexy until I saw how they treated them and they paid them. When you see the other side, it's not nearly as nice. So if you're going to be a teacher, make sure you go get a kick-ass sales job in the summer, and you should make 3 times what you do as a teacher. And if your teaching is really your passion, then go for it. If it fulfills you, I'm all for it. But please don't complain if you pick a job that has a set salary that you knew from day one. I know we're in a different economy now, and I feel bad for people who got stuck. So you know what? Go out and wholesale. You can do wholesaling on the side. I talked about a young lady with 3 small children that made $76,000 just from making a single choice. $76,000 would more than replace a teacher's salary for 1 year. That was just 1 month's worth of work. You got to make choices. We have to be accountable. Okay. And for God's sakes, you know the one I'm going to throw out there. I will never avoid this one for you. You have got to learn to be uncomfortable. We are in a society where everything has to be comfortable. Everything has to be perfect. Everything has to feel good. We have to be in air conditioning. Our cars have to be air conditioned. We can't sweat. Nobody wants to exercise because that's real work. We want all our foods custom made for it. Everything's processed. We want it dirt cheap. We don't kill anything we eat anymore. Don't get me started on this. Guys, if you want a life of comfort, you have to go through uncomfortable to get there. There's no way around it. The people that are the most comfortable in life push themselves to be the most uncomfortable, period. You are no exception. I'm telling you right now, if you're sitting around and you're just constantly comfortable, you're not moving around, you're not taking on any challenges in life. Guys, think about this. How in the hell were we put on? I'm not here to get into all philosophy and stuff like this, but if God truly wanted to make a creature just to be efficient, we would have been born with all the knowledge from day one, like robots. But no, we're born with very little sense, to completely dependent on another human being. And then if you're really smart, you learn life lessons all the way to the end of life. And I believe that life is about learning all the lessons that you humanly possibly can. The problem is most of you get caught in the minutia of every day, of being broke, not having enough money for bills. I don't have money to take care of mom. I can't even physically hire her nurse because I don't make enough money myself. And we get in this perpetual cycle, and that's how life really sucks. And I'm telling you, you're going to have to do some things to get uncomfortable and get out there. You're going to have to solve bigger problems. You are paid proportionate to the size of the problems you solve in life. If you're not going to take any risk, if you think working for one employer to do one specific job to take care of you and your family for the rest of your life is a great plan, and you think that's the least amount of risk, God bless you. I do not subscribe to that theory. I did it for 12 years. It was horrid. Honestly, I felt like a caged animal. I see all the time with your guys' comments. You're going to have to get uncomfortable. As soon as you get turned uncomfortable into comfortable, you keep doing it again. It never stops all the way up to the day. Is that weird? I find it very ironic how life works, but it is the truth. So here's the deal. If you want to be comfortable now, you're going to be wildly uncomfortable later. I can give you 1,000 examples of this. It's true. Make those cold calls now. Make those door knocks now. Make your reverse driving for dollars now. Honestly, I was unrecognizable as a wholesaler in my first 5 years. You know why? Because all I did was chase leads down. I didn't go on the internet, tell everyone I was the greatest thing. I didn't do testimonials. I just worked. I didn't even get recognized for what I did till year 7 or 8. Go, man, dude, this guy knows a thing or two. He's really good. This guy always has deals. That's like, they come to me like, dude, go see Rick, man. I just never met someone who gets as many deals done. He knows how to talk to people. I publicly go out. I show you live calls I make, cold calls. I taught my son how to do it. We put everything out there. There's a lot of people on the internet trying to teach about systems and scaling and wholesaling, but you will never, ever hear them do a live cold call. I got to wonder. Oh, that's right. We got to get behind the paywall to see that because you have to pay for that skill set. It's ridiculous. Guys, I would do this if you paid me or not. It's just the truth. So I don't care if I put it out there, if I do it every day. It's like you brushing your teeth every day. Like, okay, I'll do it. Got a seller to talk to. I got 3 to talk to as soon as I get off this phone, and I'll do it. Yes, I have people that do it, but some of them are problems, and that's what leaders do. We deal with problems. So uncomfortable. Last one, guys, and then we're going to go to lives here. You ready? For God's sakes, would you just believe in yourself? I know you think nobody else believes in you, but I'm here to tell you, me and Zach completely support you, but you've got to start becoming your biggest fan. You've got to get excited about being around yourself. Because what's the option? You're stuck with you. And I think that's a good thing. So we got to stop the crap we feed in our head. First of all, start with the news. Cut all this politics and crap out. Both sides are bad, just so you know. I'm not getting into politics because our government's $35 trillion in debt. If you think one party did over the other, the whole system's screwed up. So the only thing that you can control is the actions you take towards wholesaling today. Why don't you join the wholesaling party? Because we actually give a crap. We want to help people out, solve big problems, and make money and make people's lives better. And if you sign up for that, freaking all in. And that's how I do it. But the problem is a lot of you are like, if you can't believe in yourself, dude, you can't expect others to believe in you. And you have to start believing in yourself to make sure motivated sellers believe in you. It's got to start with you. And here's simply how I do it, guys. I would tell myself, and I still do to this day, and I tell everybody on my staff, I tell everybody at Flip with Rick, and I tell each and every one of you to go online, every time I talk to a seller, I make their life better. I believe I'm the best solution for them because I care the most. I'm a highly empathetic person. I'm very real. It's easy to connect to me, and I'm very educated on options. So I use what God gave me 2 ears, 1 mouth. That's a hint. I extract all the information by using my MCTP, my qualifying tools, and then I present a solution to solve their problem. And do I solve everyone's problem? No. But I believe I am the strongest person to meet with any motivated seller anywhere in the country to solve their problem. And I tell everybody upset, I'm here to help you out. One way or the other, even if I don't buy your house, I'm going to help you out. And if you go in and help sellers like that, the business is actually a lot of fun. When you guys try to force deals, like if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. You're better off pulling back and regrouping than signing a crappy contract. So, guys, that's everything I have on it. So let's recap so you understand. You have to make yourself accountable. Number one, you have to keep KPIs on the behaviors that drive you to get to the $5,000. But so many of you just try to focus on that $5,000 out in the blue. I need you to simplify that part. How many people I contact? How many driving for dollars leads? How many reverse driving for dollars? How many government lists I get? How many networking contacts did I make today? How many contacts did I physically make today? And just keep punching through it. Where are you on your 1,000-hour count? You on what? Hour 12, 13? By the way, watching freewholesaling.com doesn't count. I'm sorry. I'm being honest with you. Think about a pilot. They have to log every hour, and I'm not a pilot, but I think they got to be in the cockpit of the plane with the engines running to even have 1 hour count. Maybe it's when the wheels take off. So let's use that terminology when we count the 1,000 hours. So that's everything. So let me check some comments and then I'm going to jump on the lives here. We got some time here. I appreciate it, Juan. Listen, I didn't really start in my 40s. I go, man, I better start doing some stuff to take care of myself. And I'm just telling you guys, you get away with a lot of stuff till you're about 40, and then you're gonna have to work because I didn't do everything I needed to do in my 30s and 40s to really take care of myself. So I want to make the best, highest quality of life for my family, and especially my business, because my business helps take care of my family. And you can't do that by sleeping in every day, eating fatty processed foods, and drinking a ton of alcohol. You can do it, but like it's gonna catch up to you. So good questions here. Old School says, "Hey Rick, how can we do deals with you?" Good news, bad news. Good news, bad news. You could still do deals with me. I only do deals with people through Flip with Rick Plus. Why? Because you guys send so many deals, it takes a large staff to get through it. Now, I have to pay for the staff and it gets expensive. Now, I'm not saying you're any less serious if you're not in Flip with Rick Plus. Flip with Rick Plus is a community that if you send us a smoking deal, so you can still send us a deal to sellmypaper.com. But I'm just going to tell you, please stop sending emails saying, why didn't you accept my deal? You've got to understand, if it's not a good deal, I'm not going to do it with you. I'm not here just to do a deal. The people in Flip with Rick Plus have a much higher percentage because I can spend more time with them because we do Zooms and lives together. We do that for $97 a month. And then here's the really cool part. When they do a deal with me, they get their entire year for free. So I have a path to do everything for free. If you do have a smoking deal and you go, hey, Rick, it's smoking, put the numbers in there, what it's ARV, the repairs, and what you have it under contract for, and give me your best shot. But if you give me 4 paragraphs, I'm not interested because I just got to get down to the chase. And if we can start off a relationship by putting you in the Flip with Rick Plus for free, that's great. If you want to jumpstart it, join it. Some people don't want to share the fee. I split it 50-50. I don't put any junk fees in there. So we always have a way to work together on it. So there's always a way to do it. So Tyrone says, hey, I'm a new wholesaler in Jacksonville. You and Zach have taught me so much. 3 deals in the making in 2 days. So here's someone that's not making excuses. Very straight up. And that's what I want to tell you. The people that just take action, they do very well. The ones that just, I'm okay about asking questions, but like some people, to be honest with you, they want me to spoon feed freewholesaling.com. I'm not going to do it. There's plenty of gurus that will spoon feed you for $5,000 to $10,000. And honestly, you are paying for their time. I don't do that. I'm looking for the ones that actually, just like Tyrone, that'll go out and just take action. It's not hard, guys. Figure out what the property's worth, what the repairs are, and your go for no price. And if they're motivated and they need to sell the house and it's a win-win for both parties, it usually winds up being a great deal. So congrats to you. That is awesome. That is perfect. Okay, let me just double check. Yeah, that's right, John. I said the 1,000 hours doesn't count watching videos because I think I got over 2,000 videos. You're just going to do 1,000 hours on that alone. And guys, I'm all about doing videos, but there's a time to take action. It's time to do videos. When I work out, I listen to videos. I listen to podcasts. I like to do stuff like that. I take long drives. This way I don't listen to, I don't even know what the radio is anymore. I wouldn't even know how to turn the radio on in my car because it doesn't exist. I just connect it to my phone. I always have a huge database of things I want to get caught up, and you guys should too. So listen, I like good music, but there comes a time where you want to learn. And I gotta tell you, when you're driving, it's almost like self-hypnotic, and it's one of my favorite times to do it. So Ben knows I love the UFC. And guys, let's face it, the UFC is a lot like wholesaling. By the way, women do the UFC too. Some of the baddest chicks I know that do it. To me, it's amazing. But here's the reality. Here's my comparison to the UFC and wholesaling. A lot of people like to talk smack around the outside of the ring. I do this, I do that. very few will actually get in there and give it their all, because it's because you walk in and there's only going to be one person walking out. That's just the truth. So that's a scary tactic in itself. So it doesn't matter if it's a man or a woman. Listen, everyone's going to live. But I'm telling you, the whole thing, you're going to get beat up a little bit. You're going to get a bloody lip. You're going to swollen eye. Not physically, but it's going to feel like that to your ego, to your heart. And these are a lot of the techniques I'm trying to teach you guys. But here's the deal. I got to get that cage door open and get you in there. I'm not going to force you in there. Zach's not going to force you in there. And if you're willing to do battle and wholesaling, and you're going to get your ego bruised, you're going to get your heart stomped on a little bit, but just brush it off and move on, you will be fine. Most people are too scared to get in the ring. That when it comes down to it, so that's when the excuses come and you just stop. There's a great story of Andrew Tate, if you guys ever saw it on the internet, and I think this is extreme, I would never do this, and I don't believe, but he has his group, and he put like 500, I think it was like 1,000 men in a group, and next door they had a UFC ring in it. He goes, okay, people, who's all in with me? So you guys kind of know, I don't agree with everything he does, by the way, but he says, you got to go fight a UFC fighter to move forward in this event. 70% of the crowd walked out. That's the truth of wholesaling. When I sit there, 90% of the people walk out. They never do it. You'll live, guys. Trust me. It's going to hurt. It's going to be uncomfortable. You think the UFC is any different? It's wildly uncomfortable. You have to train for a UFC fight. You got to train for wholesaling. So that's why I love it. But I wrestled in high school. It's just what I love it, man. Why? Because I go out there and I'm all by myself. Yeah, I remember your girlfriend used to look at you. Your mom used to look at you, and you just got to fight, and you just give the best. And at the end, you shake the opponent of the hand, either the man you beat or the person that beat you, and that's the beauty of the business. So, okay, so so my favorite, the fighter, I like the guy out of Africa, Duplessis. It's just the guy's a warrior, man. Just everybody underestimates him. He just keeps beating the best person out there. And I've always been a big fan. He's got a great attitude. So tough business to do to have such a great attitude. So with that being said, let's jump on. Let's see if we can help some people out. You want to work on a deal? You want to talk about mindset? Let's go. Let's pick up the first one. Jabril, you there?
I'm here.
How you doing, man?
Living a dream.
Yeah? Tell me what's going on, man. Where you at?
I'm out of California, but me and the seller in California, the deal is in Pennsylvania. So okay. I want to know if you can help me out, like with the actual contract that goes with the rules and regulations for Pennsylvania.
Okay. So the first thing you did, if you go over to inside of freewholesaling.com, there's a section to walk you through any of the states with the restrictions. Mm-hmm. Now, I'm not your lawyer. You understand that, right?
Yeah.
Your Pennsylvania law is pretty straightforward, dude. Like I haven't looked at it in like 3 weeks because I went over it with someone, but yours is about as loosey-goosey as anything else I've seen out there. Listen, the only two that are stupid, in my opinion, is the state of Illinois. That's the one I don't mess with. It's ironclad. I don't agree with it, but it's ironclad. South Carolina, they can't figure it out because they don't know how to catch a wholesaler.
Okay.
You run the risk in South Carolina of somebody ratting you out. By the way, there's gurus that are trying to make their mission to rat us out. So I've had multiple gurus because I do deals in South Carolina. They're actively trying to figure out how I'm doing all this stuff to report me. And these are the people that are trying to tell you how to do the business and everything else. It's just ridiculous. So those are the two states I'm very careful. I will work with a lawyer. But dude, yours, my first suggestion have you actually read the law?
No.
Read it. It's like from the National Enquirer. It's this. So they center everything around marketing. So if you just understand, okay, I'm selling a contract, I'm not selling a property. And by the way, they say a signing is 100% legal. Number one, read it. Number two, reach out to other fellow wholesalers in your area that actually do business there and see how they navigate around it. Don't take it for gospel. And then number three, talk to your title company and see what their interpretation of everything is. But I will tell you, Yours is very loosey-goosey. They try to just nail you on a little bit of a marketing. So if you take your property and you put it all over the internet, you could be at risk. If you vet your sellers and you understand what you're doing and you're not selling a property and you follow the law, they can't really bust you for it.
Okay. So the actual
you got to know what they're trying to nail you on. So here's the number one thing they will nail most wholesalers on. And this has been around since like 2003, guys. We are selling the contract, not the property. Now, there's a catch to it. I'm selling a contract that is in control of a property. So it is natural for the person wanting to buy your contract to know more information about the property. Would you agree with that?
Yeah.
So you have to start with a contract and work your way backwards. If you start with pictures on the internet, you're basically telling yourself, I'm selling real estate without a license. And that's where they try to nail you on it. And so but I'm just telling you, it's really hard to nail people. The state of Illinois has had the law out almost 5 years. Not one infraction has ever been recorded and not one person has been taken to court. Millions of, not quite millions of transactions, and that one is black and white. You get one freebie after that, you have to have a license. So tell me about the deal and what you need help with.
In my case, it's a land deal. It's like lots. And it's in Pennsylvania. The lady, she owed taxes on it, like back taxes, and like HOA fees are like eating her up, so she can't handle the HOA fees or the taxes. So she was going to give me the lots. So I was going to wholesale them, but in my case, I wanted to go over there to actually lock down the contract, but I don't have a contract, so that's why I came to you.
Say that part again. It cut out on me.
Yeah, in my case, I wanted to go over there to get it like signed and get it under contract, but I don't have a contract, so that's why.
Okay.
So we decided to go
over to freewholesaling.com. The contract's right there.
Okay.
It's a simple two-page wholesaling contract. That's it. My advice to you is just make sure you've got someone who's motivated to sell their house. And in the end of the day, if you make your seller happy, they're the only person that can really rat you out, like when it comes down to it. Like, so if you really piss off a seller, you could have problems in any state you're in, even in the state of Florida. So at the end of the day, if you're helping someone and you're actually doing them a service, they're usually very happy for you to work with it. So remember, contract's just a contract. There's only really 5 or 6 elements to a contract. You could create your own contract as long as it passes law. And that's it. You just got to come up with the terms, the conditions, the price, and when you want to fund it. And that's all she wrote. Don't complicate it. Like, I fill out all my contracts in front of my sellers. I do not pre-populate them. It'd probably be better because you can barely read my handwriting because I'm such a bad handwriting person. So is my son. It's just, he got it from his father, but people like it because they feel like you're authentic and you're like, when you pull out this like sophisticated contract that's 19 pages, you scare the crap out of people. So so is this a property or what is it exactly?
It's vacant lots.
Locks. Like you put a boat through?
No, lots. Like land.
Lots. Okay. I thought you were saying locks. No, so we have locks over here in Florida. Like only the government owns those. So okay. So just the biggest determining of value on this is what?
The area?
Nope. On vacant lots, the number one thing that determines value, number one, 9 times out of 10, the sellers really don't know what the value is past what they paid for it. They just, there's not a lot of tools. Like you can't go to Zillow, like the lot prices are all over the board. So it's what your cash buyers in that area will pay for it. Okay. That's it. You can do appraisals. You can do anything else. At the end of the day, once you can figure out what a cash buyer will pay in that market, you can easily figure out what the price is. So you can't go into like X Leads or PropStream or something like that and get value lands because they're wildly inaccurate because it's just a piece of raw land. There's so many variables that go into it. But once you see buying activity and you see it, and it depends what part of Pennsylvania you're in. So
I see. Question.
Yes.
Would you say like the actual lots next to them, should I go for that? Like for my price to sell into a buyer?
Yeah, but it depends on how long ago those properties were sold. How long ago were they sold?
would say like a year ago, a couple years
Okay.
ago.
So is the market going forward or backwards since then? What do you think?
I don't know.
About the same, probably.
Okay.
So what's the number what do you estimate it to be at?
Well, I was talking with Zach yesterday, and he told me to just go off like the tax,
The TAV, yeah. Tax
yeah,
assessed value.
yeah, and then add like 30% onto that.
Shit. Sorry. I just start with the TAV. So land, you can be much more wild in your numbers because number one, they're not living in it. They're not nearly as attached to it. Like people get really offended, like when we do some low numbers, but it's by design. So just you can always increase your price. You can't decrease it. So your worst case scenario is if you throw out a price and he or she goes yes right off the bat. What does that mean? It means you overpaid for it.
Yeah.
You always want to know on your first offer. You
The
want to
lady,
find out where the bottom is.
But the lady, she wanted to just give me the properties. She's going to give it to me. She wasn't going to have me pay for it.
Okay. So you just need to put it under contract then and give it to a title company to see how many liens or anything else is tied to it. So I always give somebody some money for something because I don't want it to come back and bite me in the butt. So make it out for $1,000. Can you do that?
Probably not.
Why is that?
For $1,000, all the lots.
Well, if she wants to just give them to you, what's the difference? Why does she, have you figured out why she just wants to give them to you?
Yeah, so she can't handle the fees anymore for like the taxes and the HOA fees.
And, okay, and have you figured out what those fees are?
Yeah, so she showed me like the paper of it. So the taxes, like she's behind on her taxes by like 800 on one, another 800 on another one, and like 2,000 on another lot.
So how many lots is it total?
3.
So why don't you just offer? Listen, she wants to give it away. If that's her true intention, remember your challenge is you're going to have to sell it with the same issue she has. So you got to ask, why isn't she taking the market to this point? It's probably because she's struggling to sell them. Do you think that's the case?
Yeah, because
so you're going to
come through there.
And what they say?
People, I guess she did the HOA did like tax lien sales, and it didn't get sold. Like nobody like actually bought it, so I don't know if it's like a good deal or not.
Yeah. So if you don't have demand, you don't have a good deal. That's the challenge. Because when somebody wants to give something away, I'm like, sometimes people just have a mental illness and they don't understand what they're doing. If there is real value there, I always try to compensate them. I try to do the right thing because you don't want to come back because you can get accused of a lot of things in this business. But number two, if they're trying to give you a piece of land, they're telling you the HOA is killing them and they can't pay the taxes. Remember, when you buy it, you're going to be stuck with that exact same problem. And all that's going to come with it. So honestly, if she gave you the land, what would you do with it? Because you probably got $2,000 to $3,000 bill that's coming with it. So that's the challenge. What I would do is go find a buyer first. And then once you get a buyer on a hook, then pursue her. That's it. That's the only way I would do it. Because you got to find demand. If there's no demand, that's the problem with vacant land, especially with HOAs. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So you're looking in the right areas. It's sometimes it's just people, they just kill them. Like I once put an entire development under contract, 5-acre parcels. And after a year, I just gave up. And I think I lost like 30 grand. The HOAs were so insane. Nobody wanted to build there. And I just gave up. It was like an equestrian community. I actually got sued over it, but like, I wiped my hands of it. I didn't go out and seek the demand before I put it under contract. So when I have wild land like that, go find the buyer first. Cause she ain't going anywhere. Go find the buyer first. You'll be happy I said that because the worst thing you do is put that on a contract and then it's like, then you're going to have to get out of the contract and you're going to waste a bunch of time. Does it make sense?
So with me, that makes sense. So with me finding the buyer first, how can I keep it vague enough that the buyer won't try to steal my deal? With the information.
It's a good question, but you have to be general about it. And I would just nail it down to like a zip code. Hey, I got a property, this size tract. It's got this coming with it. It is under an HOA. Do you have any interest in building in this area? You just keep it general to see what it is and just see what their price range is and doing it. But listen, that's the problem with some of that vacant land. It comes with history. And if nobody wants it and they're pissed off with the HOA fees, something has to eventually give on it to make it work. So something has to change. There's got to be a reason why. So it's either, is it out in like just a complete rural area, or is it just, are the fees just that astronomical?
No, it's like it's a good population around it.
Is anybody building out there?
Yeah.
Go figure. If you can solve the problem, you can make a crap load of money, but you got to solve the problem first. So you just got to find if there's general interest in that zip code to build on this size lot of this type of community. And if you can find interest, you can sell anything you want. If there's no interest, you can't do it. You just move on to find other properties where there's actually going to demand. One of the biggest problems we have in wholesaling is, listen, people want to sell you properties that don't work for them. Don't let their problem become your problem too. If you can't bring it to a higher and better solution, you just got to move on. There's plenty of houses I put under contract, plenty of pieces of vacant. I just could not solve the problem. I thought I could. I thought I was Superman. But every now and then you'll find a property that just doesn't make sense. And they always wind up in wholesalers' hands. You've got to just understand and go, listen, I'm going to put it under contract for like $100. You're going to give me 90 days and I'll see what I can do. Now, if you want to do it that way, you can do it that way too. I would not tie up a lot of money. In fact, I probably wouldn't even send a deposit, because I just think she's going to let it get foreclosed on if you don't come up with a solution. Make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense.
Okay. Seek demand always first on a piece of vacant land so you don't waste time.
Okay.
You got it. Okay. Let me know how it works out, man.
All right.
Okay. See you. Lisa, what's going on?
Hi, Rick. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. And I do like your talk today, because I do get frustrated. I've been doing driving for dollars, right? And I've also done it virtually. My hometown is in Jackson, Tennessee.
Awesome.
And I'm not getting any response. I did get a lady that called me back. I mailed a family member because our mother passed away, but she said she had sold the house. So, but all my other texting, leaving the sticky notes, I'm just not getting any response. And I get frustrated and I give up. And so, like you said, keep going.
Yeah, you can't quit. You can't quit.
No.
Like that's the only time like you fail is when you just give up. Now you can take a little bit of a mental break. Don't take a month off. I talked to someone the other day. I'm getting I go, a month is like devastating. It's too much. But sometimes you just take a long weekend and just kind of shake it off and move forward. But sometimes you got to do some of the wrong activity to understand what doesn't work, to find the activities that actually work. So as you guys know, when I started out, I didn't cold call at all. It was just my own excuse why not to do it. I look back, it was a huge mistake, but I survived. I found other methods, but I go out and knock on doors all day, and it took a ton of time. But I went after the most motivated of all this when I did it.
Okay. So how did you get over the cold calling? Because that's another thing. I don't know why I get kind of anxiety. I've called and I've got the worst cussing out, and I'm like, oh, because I am generally a person that is not rude. I'm not rude, and I care about everyone. So I would tell you, hey, I'm not interested. Not just outright profanity.
Yeah. But you know what you have to do is you have to take the mentality like I do. Go, listen, every person I contact, I truly want to help them out, and I'm going to give them the most amount of respect. And if they work with me, I know I'm the best solution for them. It doesn't mean I know everything, because my first 3 years, I didn't know a damn thing. Honestly, I was clueless. But the one thing that made a difference for me is I didn't wait till I figured everything out. I made money as I went along. And I figured out what you have to do when you cold call is number one, I can tell you door knocking, it takes a lot more guts to door knock than it's ever going to take the cold call. The amount that can happen to you on a physical appearance, I don't even want to walk you through the crap I went through. I've been spit at. I've been chased by dogs. I've been like had the cops called on me. None of this happens over the phone. And then sometimes just to knock on 15, 20 doors will take 4 to 6 hours. And in a cold call, you can rip through hundreds of people in that. And a lot of times you get further and you don't get the cops called on you. You don't get spit on. A dog can't chase you. And I tell you, I'm down here, like it's hot as hell in South Florida in the summer. It's excruciating.
Oh,
you're just covered head
goodness.
to toe in sweat. And it's just when I just want to stay in my car. I can't take one more butt chewing. So I endured that instead of cold calling. It was absolutely foolish of me at the time. So I'm just telling you, what's the worst?
Okay.
The worst they're going to do is they're going to cuss you out or they're going to hang up on you. That's it. You're going to stay in your nice, cool AC. You're in control of anything that happens in your life. All you are is seeking. If you call 100 people, you have to expect 90% of them aren't going to give you the time of day, and they're probably not going to be very nice about it. Once again, you're going to get uncomfortable, right? We talk about this.
Yes.
You have a choice. You can either choose and seek uncomfortable, or eventually uncomfortable will come and seek you in the form of financial pain or physical pain. So let me ask you, is it a choice to be physically healthy and to eat right and to put in your exercise and to take long walks, or sit on the couch, watch drama on TV and eat your bonbons? If we all had to pick today, we'd sit on the couch. It's just easy. But we know where that's going to go if we keep going. And then, so I always have to focus on the end result. I always look at like one of my favorite things to do, especially when I first started wholesaling, is I always focused on where I was going to be by Friday evening. Because let's say Sunday and Monday are not like the funnest things in wholesaling. Sometimes it's like I used to get like butterfly Sundays. Like I'd get like 6, 7 o'clock after dinner. I'm like, oh crap, it's a long week. I got no deals with the pipeline. I got to go shake some trees. And I'd get anxiety about it. And then once I just started doing it, it just kind of went like, just go. Because thinking about the cold calling is more torturous than the actual cold calls. So at the end of the day, you just have to move. Like these people don't know you. I don't blame them when they cuss me out. And 9 times out of 10, you just got to you got to get over yourself. Because here's the reality is everything that comes at us in life, it's about your reaction and your interpretation of the event that screws you up, right? Period. Like no matter what happens, when someone tells you something that's just wildly upsetting, it doesn't mean it hurts any less. It's just like, okay, I have to move forward with life. Rick told me I had to be uncomfortable. So if I'm going to call 100 people, I know 90 people are not going to be big fans of what I do. I'm prepared for it. I have my conviction jacket on it. I'm going to be nice as pie, period, and just move through. End of story. And you just kill people with kindness and keep moving. That's because that's right. But if you look at cold calling from like a door knocking perspective stuff, like mathematically, it's hard to beat the efficiency. So, okay, I'm starting on Monday. This is where I want to be on Friday. I want to contact 200 people. Can I drive to 200 doors? Probably not. How many people can I call by Friday? At the end of Friday, I look at my tally sheet. I go, dang, I did it. But I didn't get far this week. But if you consistently do it every Friday, at some point, you're going to have stuff sitting in your mailbox, and that's it. But you have to like look at it like a machine. And this is part of the season of hustle. If you're trying to get that first $5,000, you just have to hustle through it. And what you have to do is stop questioning about how you're going to feel about stuff. I'm not telling you not to be feelingless. Okay. I'm a highly empathetic person, but we have to get over ourselves. As much as wholesaling doesn't care about where you came from, your financial background, doesn't care where your family or what country you came from, it definitely doesn't care about your excuses. And here's the truth. This one's going to hurt, but like just take it with a grain of salt, okay? Because I tell you the truth. Wholesaling does not care about your feelings. It's just the truth. Your sellers do. But remember, the ones that aren't going to do business with you, you could have slipped them a $1,000 bill. They still wouldn't have done business with you. So they're going to light you up no matter what you do. So like I'm empathetic when people cold call me, I'm actually nice to them. Like, cause I just, like, I do this for a living and I teach people, and I usually train people. Is that a cold? Is that your best job, cold calling? Like, I just said no, and you're going to hang up. Like, I encourage them to like kind of keep going, and it's it. Remember, So whenever you're cold calling, all you have to remember is I just have to disqualify first. I can't just assume everyone's not going to talk to me. But when you get a real one, then you work and you got to change your hat up and go, okay, let's go. But you just can't let the 90% of them affect your day and affect how you're going to do. And then you definitely can't let it bleed into your family, because that's where people get in problems with wholesaling. Like, man, when you walk out of your office or your home office or whatever, and you go, man, I got the crap beat out of me today. Nobody cares. Like, they just don't care. That's just the truth. So you have to, I'm not saying compartmentalize it, but go take a walk and get through it, put on your headphones and just work. And I've had so many times in wholesaling, I'm like, crap, I got nothing going on this week. What am I going to do? I just keep going. And then eventually somebody reaches out to me and go, hey, Rick, you left a message. I want to call you back. Me and my wife thought about it. We want to sell it. And at first I used to think I was really lucky, but I learned quickly that it was my consistent action that got me all the luck, nothing else. And if I didn't consistently keep contacting people, I wouldn't have enough opportunities. Once you get good and you start getting opportunities, you get better at closing them because you know what to say and nothing frightens you. And then after a while, it's a lot of fun. Like, I can't even describe it. So like right now, I'm at the point where I can only take certain leads from certain people, but I've been doing this 21 years. And like my average wholesale deal with JVs is like $66,000. Why? Because I picked the best of the best, because I've sat here, guys, for 7 years, I grounded out all by myself. No Zach in the picture. My wife helped me out. She fired herself. She hated every minute of wholesaling. I'm just being brutally honest. She goes, these people are crazy. I've never seen anything like this. And she's like, I can't do this. And I asked for help, but I didn't help her. There's some things that have a cost. When you bring in your family in the wholesaling, they don't understand what they're getting into. You better be prepared, because it takes a special person to do this. So you just got to keep energized and going. Like, that's the bottom line. And then when you have a bad day, just shake it off and move forward. Just keep moving, because when you vent it out to other people, that's when you get in trouble. And they're like, why do you wholesale? And you start questioning everything why you're doing it. You're like, crap, why do I do this? What the hell's going on? And that's what I don't want you guys to get into, that endless loop when you do that. So 7 years, listen to me, Lisa. All I did was every day I showed up, and I had long droughts, man. Like, I wish I could have recorded some of the stuff I did back then, and I just kept going. And if you stay in the game of wholesaling, it will work. But a lot of people can't do what we do. And most people after a month or two, like, this is crazy. I don't feel like I'm getting anywhere. And a lot of people I work and flip with Rick Plus, their incentive to work with me is I go, just keep going. Show me what you did today. Show me what you did this week. Show me who you're working with. And let me see if I can help those few you got on the hook and give you a couple ideas to get through it. And that's how we work. It's not a requirement. Everything I teach is in freewholesaling.com. I don't hide it from any of you guys. Like, there's no magic to it.
So my other, just two things. One is, how are you getting good contact information? Like, I find some deals, and I know I got a deal. I know it's a deal. It can make it a deal. But I can't get in contact with anyone. It's been vacant for 2 or 3 years. Some are in the worst part of towns, but some are in the B neighborhoods. Some, and 1 or 2 are in the nice areas. So how do you get the contact information, the correct contact information? I paid for it. I still, there's nothing on those people. I use Batch Lead.
I know. And there's a reason. There's a reason why nobody can get a hold of that person. So you're not the only person having a problem with it. If it was that easy, you probably wouldn't have the lead. You wouldn't even found the property, because it would have been that easy. Sometimes situations happen in the family where that's the last person that died, the heir of the family, and it's complicated. I got 15 of them in my pipeline right now. It's the same thing. I predominantly work on probates. You want to talk about crap I have to deal with? I went to closing the other day and an heir popped out of nowhere. The guy died 15 years ago. Now you want to make a claim.
Oh.
And so we're just, I'm not used to it, but it's just par for the course. And we just keep going through it.
Okay.
So I will tell you some of the best deals are the hardest ones to get a hold of people. Remember, software and data is just a tool. It doesn't solve all problems. And so
Right.
this is the part I tell you how to be resourceful. I know you've heard this speech before, so I'm not going to bore you with it, but that's where I put a sign in the yard. I talk to the neighbors. I keep an eye on who's cutting the grass, and you become kind of like a mini detective without, you can't consume you. You can't spend 10 hours a week chasing one property. That's not a good use of your time.
Right.
But hey, if I'm out in the neighborhood, I just keep watching for patterns, cars pulling in the driveways, neighbors talking, signs in yards, notes on doors. But there's some properties. I mean, I got two in the neighborhood I work. I mean, they've been that way for 14 years. It drives me nuts.
Oh wow.
And so I've even talked to the
Okay.
city.
Yeah.
The city's like, we're even
I-
more frustrated. So sometimes you can go by the
Oh,
city and get entire history on the property, and that you can find out a lot of stuff. But online's amazing. But like, you're never going to hit 100% on vacant properties. They are vacant like that usually for a reason. There is a big story behind it, but sometimes there's nobody alive to even tell the story. And so you just have to be patient. I'm never going to buy them at an auction or anything like that because I don't pay the highest price for houses. I can go on MLS and get that joy every
correct.
day.
That's not what we
So,
do.
so you're
Okay,
you're
my
never going to,
last thing you
honestly, if you bat like 30% on vacant houses, you did good. It's just how they are. They're vacant
okay.
for a reason. There is a major problem in the family and the title's screwed up and nobody knows how to fix it. Nobody knows how to get a hold of them. So realtors will give up at phone calls, skip tracing, everything else. A wholesaler, the one that's resourceful, will find a way. And so I
Okay.
started doing this in the neighborhoods I lived in. And I figured it out real quick. I'm like, okay, the long guy shows up Saturday. I'd figure out who paid the long guy and I'd work my way backwards from there. I would just
Okay.
do crazy stuff like that. I've kind of
Okay.
stalked people, but like there is a limit. Sometimes it didn't always pay off. And I'm like, man, I wasted a ton of time doing that. So you just keep moving to find people that want to work with you today, and everybody else is a follow-up, a lead set up for tomorrow. Because remember, real estate's all about timing. Nobody sells a property every day. It just doesn't work that way. They get in the mood and they make a decision. So usually towards the end of the year, a lot more decisions are made after
Okay.
Thanksgiving, especially before New Year's. December is always my greatest month, hands down. Why?
Okay.
People make decisions and I just get in front of their face. I'm like, yeah, we made a decision. And remember, I'm not selling anyone. I'm guiding them. And I just go, okay, if we
Correct.
stay on this path, we can do this. And some people just drive me nuts that can't make a decision. So you have to kind of keep narrowing the funnel to just try to make them make a yes or no decision. Some people are just wasting your time. And that's, unfortunately, that just comes with experience, learning how to talk to people.
Okay. And so my last thing, I know you talked about, and it hit home, it was about 2 weeks ago, gut health. And I was like, I need more, because something, I don't know, I ate or something. I was like, I need more. I need him to talk more about that. But I know this is on real estate. I was
Oh,
like,
yeah. So
talking
gut
about how
health. So listen, so just so everybody, I'm a hobbyist when it comes to health. Like I'm trying to figure it out just like you guys are. But as you get older like me, it's like certain things just don't agree with you anymore. Like it's just, so I'm just a
yeah, a
hobbyist.
lot of things.
No, but like, so I want you to understand my journey through wholesaling has allowed me to go fix problems I've experienced my entire life, that I finally have the time, resources, and the money to go, hey, how can I get help? I will tell you this. I know this is going to sound terrible, but do you ever wonder why in 2024, the whole medical field will tell you we're getting better educated. We know how to fix problems better than anything. And people, the average age is longer, but then you look at America as a total health check. We are in crisis mode in this country. Like the worst, case they've ever seen. So like, okay, how are the doctors getting better and we're getting worse?
Correct.
Did you know that the number 3 killer in the United States, from the research that's been told to me, remember, I'm not a doctor, is from medical malpractice? That's the number 3 killer in the United States.
My niece is my little sister, she's like, MP got like 14 letters behind her name, and she was like, yeah, malpractice is very high, and we have to have malpractice insurance.
Well, that's why they call it a practice. Do you know what you do in practice? You screw up.
Okay.
So like right now, so in every now and then I just drop a little tidbits because some of you guys have great advice for me and you help me out a lot. So I have high cholesterol, which all I hear is, well, it's inherited. I'm like, I don't have any other issue really. Like just, normal wear and tear stuff. And so my doctor goes, here, take the statin. I go, well, what's the side effect? He's just take it. So I've been taking it like a year, the lowest dose. And so I went on an appointment the other day and we got in like a fight. Like I go, I'm not just going to keep taking a pill because you keep telling me to take a pill. And so now I've learned in the difference between LDL and then your insulin resistance. And so all the research on, remember, I'm not a doctor, but like they just take it because that's how the business is, because most people have a fatty liver. And so doctors, for the most part, and then we're going to end this because I know I'm boring the crap out of people, is they just treat the sick. No, we don't go see a doctor when we're feeling good ever. And that's one of our biggest, we only go when we're sick. And then they treat you like the masses and they give it. And then this pill causes this problem. I have family members that I just don't trust doctors. Like I've lost 2 family members, in my opinion, from doctor abuse. Like you guys, these ibuprofen and the Advils you take for your everyday things?
Yes.
They will destroy you in the long run. They will wreck your kidney. I have somebody on I have a family member close to dialysis because they've relied on the doctor. Like they got to take accountability for it. But I'm just telling you, do not take this stuff unless you should never take it more than 5 days. Your kidney can't handle it. It destroys it. It will just, and you get all sorts of other problems. Guys, the bottom line is I love wholesaling. If you want to correct some of the things in your life, I'm just a hobbyist. So when you guys come out, if you're going to come out to the October event and 23rd, 24th, some of you guys are a lot smarter than me. Now, my daughter's a nurse practitioner, and she's even like, oh my God, like all we do is treat sick people and give them like pills. Like, and the entire country is ran by the pharmaceutical companies and lobbyists. And that's what drives me crazy. So when I go and ask a doctor questions, I'm just like, he goes, that's just the way we do it. I go, why? He goes, well, because most people who have high cholesterol, you're at risk for a heart attack. So I went in and got a whole calcium score. They scan your heart. He goes, you're a 4. That's about as low as you can get. I go, so why am I going to take a statin? Now, I don't want to die of a heart attack. Don't get me wrong. And I'm taking ones to cover them, but like all my research is showing is you're being treated as a very sick person that's never exercised or eaten right in your whole life. And now I'm kind of the complete opposite. And I'm learning I could be damaging my body than doing more good. And so now, like, you guys, I've asked questions my entire life. It got me in a lot of trouble in school, and it's how I wound up in wholesaling. So now I'm seeking out doctors to be proactive so I can go in as I get older and just be very active. I met a guy 90 years old in the gym that's got like muscles everywhere. It's a choice, guys. What? It's a choice. If you want to just be fat, lazy, and like die in a wheelchair, I'm not your guy. Because I've taken care of 2 very sick elderly parents. It's extremely painful to watch. And it had such a ripping effect on me. I go, I'm getting ahead of this thing now because it's hard to watch. So it's been challenging. So listen, wholesaling frees up a lot of things. Just stick to the journey. And remember, these people aren't going to hurt you on the phone at all. And it's a very efficient use of your time. And as long as you keep creating opportunities, eventually one's going to hit. If you stop, then there's no opportunity, then you're never going to get lucky. And that's just the truth.
Hey, guys. Yeah. Oh, one last thing. One thing Rick said last week is so true, guys. I got a $20,000 raise. Rick, I see an extra $1,000 in my, a month. Uncle Sam takes all the rest. You were so correct about that. I was like, no, I'm getting off of my butt. This is not going to, 20, maybe 21, 22,000. I see an extra $1,000 a month. I'm like, what? It blew me away. And you spoke about it last week. And I was like, yeah, I need to get back on this because I can't do this.
You got it. Okay, Lisa, I got to run. You got it. Okay. Awesome. Okay, guys, I got to wrap this up. Do me a favor. Make sure you subscribe to this channel to get the best information. The Rick Ginn YouTube channel. We'll be on tomorrow on Flip with Rick. I believe we're going to do cold calling with Zach. Make sure you check out my son's channel, zachginn.com. If you guys had a chance, go over to xleads.com. It's an all-in-one platform. If you guys are tired of paying for these expensive softwares and you want to deal with wholesalers that actually use it in their business, check it out. You can get Dispo, the CRM, comp tools, absolutely everything in there. Check it out. And if you commit for the entire year, you get it half off, which is pretty cool. So I appreciate you guys. We'll see you tomorrow. Peace out. Later.